Hello, I'm Wanderer001, and this is my review of the Garmin nuviCam LMTHD navigation. Obviously, if you get a GPS, you want to be able to use it for navigation. So this is the last of the large series set that I'm doing for the Garmin nuviCam. If you would like to see any of the other series, I will put something up there in the corner there that will link to a particular portion of what I've done. So right off the bat on the Garmin screen, because it is a GPS, it's going to ask you one of two things. Where do you want to go? And view maps. If you're not actually going anywhere and you just leave it on this screen and do not initiate the maps, once you start going over 30 miles an hour for about 20 seconds, the maps will automatically pop up. So you don't have to initiate the maps. You can just have the GPS turn on with the car and then just leave it go, and once the maps or once you reach a set speed, the maps will automatically come on for you. But if you don't, clicking on maps will bring you into just that, the maps. It is a fairly bare-boned map. If you look over here, you have a plus sign and a minus sign. What this will do is allow you to zoom in and out on the GPS, but also because it is a capacitive touch screen, you can pinch to zoom. Coming over here to the speed corner, if we click on that, it will bring up a dashboard of all sorts of interesting information. You got trip A, trip B, max speed, moving average, total time, elevation, current location, and GPS accuracy within a couple of feet. If we come over here to the hamburger button, clicking on that will allow us to reset the fields. So let's hypothetically say we want to reset trip B. Now we can do this for all the items there, but we just want to do trip B right now. So we're going to hit reset. Coming back up to the top, you'll notice here's trip A and here's trip B now zeroed out. Over here, I currently have this particular area of the dashboard set up for direction. You can either select direction, time of day, or elevation. You can only have one of these selected at a time. Now, these options are only when you're not actively navigating. When you're actively navigating, you get a new host of options, and I'll show you that in a moment. But let's say I want to change it to elevation. Here you can see my current elevation is 501 feet. This lower hamburger button right here, if we click on it, brings up extra little icons that you can have on the side here. So if I wanted to bring up traffic, it would bring up a card right here that says, hey, there's no traffic right now. If I wanted to bring up what's ahead, it will bring up what's ahead. Now, these are configurable through the user interface of the Garmin. And again, link over here for a breakout video of that. These, if you are actively navigating, will show you how close you are to the items that you have selected. In my case, gas, bathrooms, and places to eat. So as I'm driving along, as long as I'm navigating, it will tell me the next closest one of these. So if you're on especially a long trip, knowing where the next bathroom is very important. So you can kind of gauge, do we want to skip this one? Do we want to go to the next one? Do we want to use this one? So that's really good to have. If you're not actively navigating and you have this menu up, clicking the icon will tell you exactly where the closest of that particular item is. Now the card will stay up and not interfere with navigating because it's a nice big screen and kind of just sits over there in the corner anyway. But should you not want it up anymore, all you have to do is click the X. Now you will notice that the traffic one is still up underneath it. That's because they do stack. So you can cycle through them that way if you want to have a couple open and just close them off as needed. Hamburger button down there will allow you to select which ones are visible at a time. You will notice that there are some that are grayed off, and if they're grayed off, that's because you are not meeting a set requirement that they need to be active. And you can notice that it does turn off after a little bit. Stop will only come up if you're navigating, as well as weather will only come up if you actively are using SmartLink. So that's going to use your cell phone's data. If you click the wrench in the corner here, it will bring up others that you can set up as quick launch items. So stop, camera, change route, up ahead, trip data, volume, brightness, traffic, and weather. Now, because I don't use weather, I'm going to take that off. Brightness, while it is an option, I don't use or have in that quick set because if I'm going to change the brightness, I'm going to use the voice commands for that. And that is a quick look at the map view. If you press on your car, it will bring up your exact location, which will allow you to save your current location. Let's hypothetically say you went somewhere and you're not exactly sure where you are, but you want to save it. You click on your car icon and you can save. Here you can see all sorts of information, GPS coordinates, nearest intersection, and nearest address. You can also select hospitals, police, or fuel for your current location. Clicking the hamburger button will allow you to get directions to me based on your current location. And that's what you can do currently from the map screen. Going back to the main screen, where to, what this will do is allow you to do just that. It'll allow you to select where you want to go. You can either go home, and that's only accessible if you pre-programmed where your home address is. So clicking on your car and saying save and then calling it home. You can select by address, restaurants, gas stations, Foursquare, or add a shortcut. If you click the hamburger button on this screen, you can also remove shortcuts. So notice now they have the little trash can next to them, which will allow you to do that. So I don't use Foursquare. So I'm going to touch it, which will outline it in red, and then you click it again, that removes it, and then I hit done, and now Foursquare is not there anymore. But if I want it back, I just come over here to add shortcut, and then I can kind of go through here and select what I want back here. Over here you have categories, saved, and recent. So the recent will bring up recently searched items. Saved is anything you have saved, and categories is just that. You can select what categories you want to go through. So let's say I'm interested in something to eat right now. You can select all restaurants, and it will break it down into particular types. So let's say fast food, and now it's just going to search fast food. Here we have a Foursquare integration for Hoyer's or Carvel. I guess it's assuming it's really hot out, so that's why it's bringing those up, and I would probably agree. So we would hypothetically say Carvel ice cream. You can select route, which will bring up a map and show you from your location where Carvel is. Now, right over here, it's showing you the purple line. This is the time it would take for you to get from where I am to Carvel. Now, if there were alternative routes that it could use, it would bring it up down here and have it outlined in a different color, and then you could select between the two. Information for this will just show you that. It will give you route time, route distance, category if it's available, and the address up here. Now, from here, you can either save the location or you can hit go, and that will start the navigation. Again, you can pinch to zoom or plus and minus out on the little mini map. Next selection is if we actually hit go, it will start calculating.
Please drive to highlighted route.
And tell us to start driving. We're not going to do that just yet. We're going to come back to the where to page, because over here in the upper right hand corner, this is a point of contention with some people. If you're looking for one main street, there's a lot of main streets, and it will search quite a vast set of zip codes. If you want to limit that to where you are, clicking on this will allow you to say where I am, my destination, upcoming, or you can choose the specific city that you want to be searching in. So using that option will allow you to search for Main Street in, hypothetically, Gettysburg, as opposed to Main Street in Thiels or Main Street in like all the surrounding cities. So what I'll do now is I will search for the address of a local school and start navigating to it and show you what that looks like. All right, so I'm going to cheat a little bit because I have the place I want to go in recently found. So I'm going to select, and again, if I choose routes, it will show me the different routes there, but there's really only one route here. Same with information, it will bring up all the information just like I showed you. So we're just going to hit go and let it calculate.
Please drive to highlighted route.
Now, once I've done this, you'll notice that it changes the directional to arrival time. So if I click on this, you get more options now, and that's because you're actively navigating. So you've got arrive in, destination distance, via point arrival, time to via point distance, direction, and time of day. Now, again, you can only have one of those active at a time. You'll notice at the top there, it is displaying the current or the next road that we should be on. Now, if we were just not navigating at all, but just had the map up,
Turn left on Hammond Road, then take the first right.
the lower portion of the dashboard would indicate the current road that you're on, while the top portion up there will indicate the next turn or intersection. So, looking over here, as part of the map data, it does have the
Turn right at the traffic light.
the speed limit, and there you can hear the real directions of turn right at the traffic light. The speed limit is part of the map data, so if you do not or if you're on a road that does not support map data with a speed limit, you're not going to see that. So you'll see
In
that
1/2 mile, turn left on Stores Road.
the map pulled out as I started navigating. Now that does depend on where you're navigating. If you're navigating a highway, it will pull out more, and if you're doing local streets, it will only pull out a little bit. You do have the purple directional, and in the upper left hand corner here, you can see just how much time or miles you have until your next turn. That's really good if you're on a multi-lane highway. Granted, I'm on a street that only allows for one-way traffic,
In
so
1/4 mile, turn left on Stores Road.
not as important, but multi-lane highway, you would see several different lanes, and the white one would be where you're supposed to be. Also, if you did that, it would do real view or real junction view, which would split the screen, and the right-hand side of the screen would show you a picture of where you should be. Now, you're noticing now the speed limit there is kind of flashing up to red. Now, that's because I am obviously going over the speed
Turn
limit
left on Stores Road.
a little bit. What happens is the speed limit will kind of work its way up to that red, but once it gets to
In 1/4 mile, turn right on Stores Road.
the full red view as you saw, it does not progress any further. So just keep that in mind. It's a little indication that you should be slowing down a little bit. And if you have the dash cam set up to recording your speed,
Turn
then
right on Stores Road.
now I'm not going to turn right here because it is trying to bring me in through a dead end. So, or a one-way street, I should say. That is a recent development, so the maps still haven't picked it up just yet. But you can see now it's trying to do a dotted line because I'm in a parking lot to bring me to where I need to go. So there's where it wants me to go. Here's where I am, but we're close enough to the destination where it's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop currently, and then I'm going to cheat and do another destination. So I'm going to say recently found, and I'm going to try and go to Stony Point Elementary.
Please drive to highlighted route.
But hypothetically, what happens if you want to do a point in between here and Stony Point Elementary? You can do a search, and these will be very similar if you type it in or use voice commands. I am lazy and will just use the voice commands. Computer,
Say a command.
find place.
Speak the name of a place.
Now, you'll notice here it's showing you along, near, or near current. Those are other options that you can use. North Rockland High School.
Searching for North Rockland High School.
1.
Would you like to begin navigation?
Navigate.
Start new route or add as next stop?
Add as next stop.
Please drive to highlighted route.
So because we already had an endpoint set up, it gave us the option of replacing that endpoint or adding it to the route. So we're going to add it, as you saw, to the route.
In 1/4 mile, turn right on Letchworth Village Road.
And what I'm also going to do, like I normally do, she wants me to make a right up here. I'm going to make a left just to show you what she says when you make a wrong turn. Now, you will also notice I do have the live assisted video option turned on. However, because
Turn right on Letchworth Village Road.
we did not get close enough to the destination. What? So she did not say recalculating, and she just automatically changed the route to where we need to go. So she should prompt me in a moment to make a right up here at the light. But as I was saying before, because we did not get close enough to our destination, the live junction view, not live junction view,
Turn right at the traffic light.
the photo assisted view at the end did not pop on. Hopefully it will show up when we go to the high school, but we're gonna take a break while we wait for the red light.
In 1/2 mile, turn right on Birch Drive.
So here you can also see on the map, it's showing a orange flag because that's a point along the actual route. If it was the end point, it would be a checkered flag, but since it's not the end point,
In 1/4 mile, turn right on Birch Drive.
it's showing you the orange flag. Now it's actually bringing me the back side street that's technically no through traffic. In the past, Garmin tried to get me
Turn right on Birch Drive.
Garmin tried to get me to go around this, but apparently they are utilizing this now. And as I said, this is a
At the end of the street, turn right.
no through street. However, this is a good example of all of those real directions that Garmin touts. Now you can see it's going to have me go right because that's where the high school is, and left would be the elementary school. So it's going to have us tap the high school first and then direct us out of the high school once we get there.
Turn right on Hammond Road, then take the second left.
Alright, let's see if it'll pop over to the dash cam.
Turn left, then take the first right.
And I skipped it again because it's trying to bring me into one ways, and I'm not sure why it's doing that. Well, I had hoped that the real dash cam view assisted navigation would show up, but for whatever reason, it does not want to do it for these particular areas. It does pop up for houses and things that are a little more scrunched together, but again, as I stated before, it, in my opinion, is a little gimmicky, and I didn't like it as much as being able to see the map all the time. So we're just going to stop that. That was a quick look at the navigation for the Garmin nuviCam LMTHD. If you want to see any more or a different part of the video series for this, I will link it in the upper right hand corner of your screen. You should see something popping up. So I have been Wanderer001. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the area below. And as always, thanks for watching.